Okay, so good afternoon. I'm joined by Prince Zuko today, and we're going to be showing everybody what I'm drinking this afternoon, which is Shou Shan High Mountain Oolong from Taiwan. This is like the tea that I go to almost every afternoon if I need a pick me up. It's crisp, it's clear, it's ethereal, it's graceful, it's wonderful, it's lovely. Um, like when I pour tea at social events, this is almost always the tea that I pour. It's approachable, it's not like far out and mystical, it's not grounding in any capacity. This is a tea that I could pour a very large amount of and like never have any anxiety from. Oh, hello, little buddy. And yeah, I've never been treated poorly by this tea, like ever. It's just wonderful. I adore it. I've purchased a very large amount of this tea in my life, drank lots and shared lots. Um, so, a little bit about this tea as I warm up my teaware. So, this tea is a high mountain Taiwanese oolong tea called Shou Shan, or it's from Shou Shan, which means like Fuzhou, like mountain. And it's fucking incredible. So, high mountain Taiwanese oolong tea. So this comes from the second highest elevation tea garden in the world. It's probably one of the most premium high mountain oolongs you can purchase. Oops. And they say that the higher the mountain, the higher the cheese. So in high mountain like regions, like where there are tea gardens in Taiwan, essentially fog billows up, making like cloudier, like kind of harsher growing conditions for the tea. So it's a little bit harder to grow, and that develops a stronger tea, stronger in energy. It kind of had to work for like its ability to survive. And as a result, I find that the energy is much better than like most things, and particularly like lower level like Taiwanese oolongs, which I would compare it to. Those are wonderful as well. That was my gateway drug to tea, was like Taiwanese, like pretty high mountain oolong, but just not as nice as this one. There's one mountain higher called Ling, which has more of this like chill, like lightning type of energy to it, but this is a little bit more feminine. And I would consider this a very feminine tea. Like, it's not gonna push you, it's not gonna tweak you out. It's just gonna uplift, enrich, delicate, beautiful, fucking lovely, gorgeous, juicy, yummy, wonderful. Anyway, so I started pouring this because, and what led me to pour this today, it's 3 p.m. Like, I exercised, I was a little bit tired and lethargic though, and just kind of like laying on the floor in my kitchen after like meal prepping some food, and I was kind of like, oh, what would nourish me the most? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna drink some of this. This will keep me up a little bit at 3 p.m. That's kind of like the latest cutoff that I want to drink tea. Otherwise, I would lay awake at night for 10 to 15 minutes trying to fall asleep, but I usually don't have any trouble going to sleep generally. So the nose on this in a warm guy one is like, it smells like the fresh baked bread that my nana used to make. She used to make like sourdough bread. I think it was pretty buttery. But this isn't like a milk oolong. That's a totally different cultivar of oolong. Kind of this like vegetable note, like flowers, beautiful. Like I'm in like a crisp meadow, like hiking a 13 or a 14 in Colorado, and it's springtime. It's just like high vibe. This is 185 degree water. Sometimes I will like bring this to ecstatic dance, full of this tea, and I'll usually steep it at like 165 or something, because it would push it too hard Western brewing it for like an hour at 185, but I don't usually go any hotter than that when I'm pouring this tea Gong Fu style like I'm doing right now. So I'll usually start this tea with incredibly short steeps and keep it that way for quite a while, as to not burn off any of like the floral notes, you could say. And then I'm gonna go in for the nose again. Just like flowers, baked goods, a little bit of grassiness. This is from this spring's harvest, and it's August 2nd, August 2nd today. So this was only harvested a couple months ago. And like from Trident, I always buy this tea from Trident in Boulder, Colorado. And like I bought all of the remaining last harvest, like every single item they had left from the 2024 harvest. And like the day this was launched, I'm just like, oh yeah, like get 7 ounces, get 10 ounces of this. Like I know I'm gonna drink a lot of that this year. Like this will age fine in my in my drawer as well as it will in their big bin. So yeah, it kind of just tastes like water at this point in time with that short of a steep. But I don't want to burn it. Oh man, that's fucking incredible. And burning it is where if you took a very like floral delicate tea and like pushed it too hard with too much temperature or time, I'm gonna pour this now. Burning it would kind of like muddle all of these like really soft floral, like it smells like really nice hair. Meadows come to mind, flowers, something kind of like tropical, like I'm in the islands. Like I'm sailing in the Spanish Virgin Islands. Very wet, but not in a saltwatery type of way. And yeah, for anybody interested, that is Zuko's cat wheel. Yes, little buddy. Yes, little buddy. He's a Bengal cat, so he's a very active little guy. He sleeps a lot during the day, but when he's awake, he's like screaming and hilarious, and he's a character and a half. Yes, Joshua. But at night, he's a complete little cuddle kitty. He's adorable. Hello, little buddy. He's like very like fierce and masculine. He's like, meow, like who are you coming into my house? And then at nighttime, he's like, I want to be invited up to bed with a treat. Like, please, can I snuggle you? So that was the rest of the first pour. Let's see if there's a little bit more body in this. Oh man. So yeah, this tastes a little bit different than I'm usually drinking this at the office. At the office I use bottled water, which I think comes from like the Shasta region of North California. And then when I'm home, the water that I actually use, this is an important note on water. If I was drinking this tea and I was using like non-filtered tap water, the tea would taste like shit. It wouldn't taste like shit. It would taste much worse. Chlorine in the water would make it taste terrible. So all of the water that I drink tea with, and I've found to bring out deliciousness in the teas that I brew, are in San Francisco, where I reside, we have water coming from the Sierra Nevadas, from the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir, so it's all snowmelt, comes through. We have some of the best tap water in the United States. But they do add chloramine and chlorine to the water, which I wouldn't really want to ever drink pool water, and wouldn't recommend anybody ever drink tap water for that purpose. You're like killing all of your gut bacteria. Like you wouldn't douse anything in chlorine. Like you wouldn't douse an organic being in bleach if you wanted them to live. Like, no amount of chlorine is good for the human body. I believe the guy that invented the water chlorination system to remove viruses, bacteria, and mold and such from the water supply also invented a dechlorination process, like at the other side of the other, like at the house or at the like receptive site for that water. And then when municipalities like use the chlorination system, they just like forgot to remove chlorine from the water too. The guy who invented it knew how toxic the chlorine was, and and then they just kept it in the water. But I use a water drop 10 UA filter under my sink, so all of the cold water that comes out of my tap is just like beautifully purified, but not reverse osmosis filtered tap water. I don't know if that removes fluoride from it, or if San Francisco puts in fluoride. I don't believe that fluoride should be added to water as a holistic health practitioner. I believe that dentists said that to support tooth health, and they don't know how to support the entire human body because they're just like an engineer for the tooth or for teeth. Yeah, I strongly recommend against anybody consuming fluoride. I brush my teeth with like baking soda, and I eat good food. There's a book by Weston Price, Sharing My First Name, who talked about people following ancestral diets, and they had like full jaws with complete room for all of the teeth in their mouth. And then people like within a generation or two switched to Western diets, like consuming a lot of like flour and sugar and like not anything like of the earth. And all of their faces just like over the course of a couple generations or different groups, their faces were so fucked up. All of their jaws became like compacted because they didn't have enough like minerals to support bone development while they were growing up, and like all of their teeth accordingly were just completely shot, both in like crowding in a like your teeth look fucked up way and just missing teeth. Sidetrack. So there she is. Yes, good buddy. Okay. So yeah, wrapping up the topic of water. I would say that if your tap water is terrible, probably reverse osmosis your water and then put minerals like trace minerals like back into your water. You don't really want reverse osmosis water for tea because a lot of the minerals that come from spring water add a lot to the tea, and that's, I would consider like the highest G water you can drink. Is not just H2O, but H2O and, I'm gonna let that go a little longer, and all of the things that nature would provide that water in terms of mineral enrichment. You don't want wildly high minerality in the water that you're drinking because I don't think it'll really like pull much out of the tea if you do that. But little buddy. So this tea, like, I feel like it hits me like right in my forehead. It's just this like beautiful wave of like golden green sunshine. Just like pleasant, loving, like wonderful, like a beautiful woman kissing your forehead. And probably noticed the psychoactive effect on me in the past like 10 minutes of filming this, where like I started out a little bit low energy, I would consider, a little bit out of it, a little bit aloof, probably forgetting to tell you some of the history of the tea or butchering it in some capacity. Well, I just want to steep this now, but I'm gonna let this go longer. But now I'm much more awake, like vibrant. I will be awake a little bit longer tonight. It's 3 p.m. But I don't quite care. I might go to a Burning Man art project, like tea pouring fundraiser hosted by Shou Shan and a couple other burning camps that I'm friends with tonight. Or I'll go to bed at 9 p.m. and wake up tomorrow early. I feel like as I'm pouring these teas and sharing about them with people, often words don't do a lot of service. They do some service, but I feel like showing you the way that Prince Zuko, thank you, little buddy. He's going into his cabinet looking for treats. I was saying, instead of me communicating in English to you, like, the tea does this, and like scientifically, like the catechins, like awaken this and have this antioxidant property, I feel like looking into my camera and feeling what the tea is doing to me is probably the best communication I can put on the internet of, hey, this is how it affected my state. And like watching a sparkle like ignite in my eyes is probably a better communication of why I drink this tea than any set of words could express. So, like my little brother Ashton, his birthday was yesterday, and I sent him a slightly lower mountain Taiwanese high mountain oolong. I sent him a bunch of it. I don't know if he would know the difference between this and that one. That one's like 50% of the price. But I gave him that and like a jug like this that, well, it's glass and it has like a filter top. And I was just like, hey, if you just room temp brew this or cold brew this and you don't have all of the equipment, you, like if you drink that at 1 p.m. when you're like starting to slump, he drinks a lot of coffee. But like once he's starting to hit that crash and he starts consuming this, it'll just like brighten the rest of his afternoon and power him through the day. I'm drinking this for two purposes. One, to power me through the rest of the day. Keep working, get stuff done, and then maybe go to that Burning Man event tonight. Okay, well, I don't know how much more I have to say about this tea. I feel like you can see it in the smile on my face. Yeah, Trident puts the notes on here as lilacs, snap peas, honeydew melon, and clarified butter. Yeah, I noted a little butter at the beginning. None of those notes, I guess a topic on tasting notes, none of the teas that I drink are flavored. Like some, when I was getting into tea, yeah, like vegetables, butter, high mountain flowers. I smell a lot of butter right now. I actually never really get that from this tea, which is kind of fascinating. A lot of these tasting notes will change based on the water that I'm using. So like the water at the office, which is like the water from Northern California, further North California, makes this tea taste like slightly different and extracts a little bit differently as well. But I don't think there is a science to tea, but I think it's more of an art. And when you have like arguably perfect water meeting arguably perfect tea, and you try not to fuck it up as you're doing this, you're gonna be put into a really good place. And I guess for context, the amount of tea that I'm drinking here, like I'm gonna have a blast this afternoon, like high on this beautiful psychoactive. And this is probably like $3 a tea. Like I can't, people are like, oh, like tea's expensive, tea's expensive. I spend a lot of money on tea. I know one guy who spends more money on tea than I do, but I think even when I've been like in debt from starting a business, I'm still just like loading up on tea. It's not problematic. It's an investment. It's an investment. That's what I tell my girlfriend. She believes me. Okay, well, I guess I'll end the video here. After this, I'm gonna add like either 200-degree water or boiling water to these leaves to just like spank them really fucking hard and like get the rest of like the catechins and everything from it. Now that it's kind of like hit peak, and I've like burned off, or like not burned off, but like extracted all of those like really gentle like top notes. Now I'll get into the meat of this, and like I'll pour boiling water onto it, drink it, pour boiling water onto it, come back in 5 minutes, come back in 30 minutes, whatever it is, and just kind of like nurse this for the next 30 minutes or so. And yeah, but this makes a great cold brew as well. Cold brew, room temp brew. You could also just buy this tea. Like the biggest bang, like if you haven't had any tea at all ever, and you want to like get really good tea, do it right, get the water right, get the brewing right, whatever the fuck it is, especially if it's summertime. I'm from Florida, my little brother's in Florida right now. Shout out to St. Pete. Yeah, if you just buy this tea, put it into a jug of spring water from the store, and just like let it sit for a day in your fridge, and then you drink it like in a nice glass, and you like swish it around your mouth, I fucking guarantee you that you're gonna be like, okay, this is wonderful. Like this is the best iced tea I've had my entire life. Especially if it's summertime where you are. Cool. I don't want to get up and turn my camera off now. Cool. So I'll probably make more videos about Shou Shan because it's so near and dear to my heart. It's what I pour at parties. It's like been a gorgeous addition to my life for the past like 2 years, and she's a great friend. Yeah, instead of me telling people to buy this tea, I'm just gonna send this video to them and be like, hey, like watch me rant about something I love for 20 minutes. Okay, the next time I'm pouring tea on a weekend, I'll do the same thing, and I'll clue everybody into what I'm drinking, which might be something like Gushu Raw Puer, which is like probably been, that tea has probably transformed me the most as a person. I would consider it like a psychedelic tea. These I would not consider psychedelic, but Gushu means ancient tree, and I can get into more of that later, but that's probably my favorite tea. Despite this just being like perfect, bubbly, wonderful, like this is more like MDMA or benzofurin you could consider, and that's more like ayahuasca or like San Pedro or something of the sort, which is a little bit more rich and nuanced, but might distract you from the work that you're doing. This does not distract me from the work that I do. Cool. Till the next one. See ya.